it's Amanda here. I'd like to thank you one and all for the views you've done on I've watched my last video, which was 2 months ago. Dark Mofo is this art. Today, well, it's the only sunny day we've had for a fair while in Hobart. We've had a lot of rain and miserable weather, and I've had a few other personal things to contend with, like getting my carpet tunnel done. I had in both arms. I recently had my right hand done, and I'll show you that later. But where I am now is out in front of, in my other video I always got these confused, the town hall. That building in behind me is the GPO, where our post office is. And I'm going to show you some photo of it, or go to places that I couldn't really see when I did the Dark Mofo one, because it was dark, of course. Now, where I'm going to show you now is where I am, because I took this with my mobile phone, and for some unknown reason, I don't know why, but I will put it on at the end of the video, it was about double speed. So I was no sound, so you couldn't hear me speak, but everything was going so quickly. So we'll just I'll go and show you some of what's been happening on and what's around, what we couldn't see in the dark, and I'll go and show you what's like in the daylight. Of course, Dark Mofo is well and truly over by now, and it's getting the end of winter here, so it's Wednesday today. Saturday, which will be the 1st of September, is when hopefully the nice warm weather will start and we won't have as much rain. Okay, well, I'll turn the camera around and we'll see what's going on. Right, as I said, I'm out in front of the town hall. Right, that bit of fresh hot mix there that looks newish. Underneath there is a container. Just a steel box the size of a shipping container, a 40-foot container. A guy spent, I think it was 16 days or something in there, and he had oxygen pumped in and water, that's all he drunk. Everybody was calling it, there's a new speed hump for Hobart, because it will sink after a while when they take it out. But this building here is an Art Deco building. That used to be where our local paper was made. It's the offices. It's called the Mercury. They've moved down to Salamanca Square, so I'll show you a later date. Around the corner is where the actual paper was printed, but not there anymore. That building on the corner, I believe, I haven't done my history on it, but I believe that's where the Mercury actually started. There's a museum in there now. And yeah, once again, I apologise for any joking because I'm on my tablet. I'll show you the beautiful town hall. All sandstone. Up in that section up there is a beautiful ballroom with a big massive chandelier, and you got the main entrance. But the best thing about this main entrance is that, see how good I am going upstairs without jerking you guys about, is they've kept the original tiles. You can see what the original tiles look like that were on the front for you. Very artistic. You don't see that these days with modern buildings. So no one has actually managed to find a foundation plaque for this building, so no one actually knows when it was actually built or whatever, but it's fairly old, and very steep in history. And by the way, I'm not quite sure, but I believe that is a Norfolk pine. I've been to Norfolk Island for a holiday many years ago with my parents, and that they've got them on the island. Captain Cook landed on the Norfolk Island. I'm not quite sure when off the top of my head. And he saw them. They were nice and straight, and he thought they would have been ideal for ship's masts, but the timber was too not good enough for masts. So that idea sort of fell on its head. Like a whole lot of ideas that happens. People have all these ideas. I admit I have good ideas, but sometimes they end up being a total waste of time to think about. Now, that over there is a part of Elizabeth Street, which goes all the way from the wharf, but that section there is our bus mall, which is half of it's used and the other half's not, because you see that big massive gap? There was a building there. A local company demolished it because there's a big massive high-rise apartment block going, or holiday place going in there, motel, so but trucks are going in and out. But they demolished it from the inside out. Over the road is Franklin Square. Now, Franklin Square is, I found out it's a lot more history than what I thought it was. Apparently, that was the place of our first government house. And it was built with shoddy workmanship, and yeah. Right. 12:30. Yeah, and they had to add bits onto it to stop it from falling down. This building here was, once again, it's Art Deco. That was originally the HCC, the Hydroelectric Commission, who do our power. It's now owned by the Hobart City Council, so that's now their offices. And there's the back of the town hall. They've got offices out there as well, so yeah, that's really nice inside too, the town hall, where they have their council meetings and everything like that. That modern building behind what was the old hydro building is run by the hydro as well. They had to expand because they couldn't fit it all in the offices. That's I'm not quite sure what that building originally was for, but that's where our information sits. So if you're a visitor, you can get all your information, book holidays, trips, go to national parks and all that in that building there. Apparently down in the basement, I've been told that, I haven't seen it physically, but you can actually see the edge of the water, the rocks and all that. So yeah, because we're pretty close to the edge of the water. You got Muir's in the distance there. It's that green building with a red roof. Now, this building here is not a part of the Hobart City Council building. It's actually the Maritime Museum. But this building has got a bit of history in itself. This is actually right what this traffic lights you can see right here where they cross over there. That's where I started my video. There was actually an entry video before that I did over on the Eastern Shore, but it didn't end up in the video because it didn't turn out all that well. You couldn't hear me. But this is the Maritime Museum. There is a plaque along here somewhere. Where is it? This was originally, if I can they've got anchors and everything. Where is this plaque? This was actually the original library. Now, I don't know if you guys can read that or not. Hang on, I'll go down here. I've got to find out where the camera is. Right, there we are. It's a former steam powder exceller. Used to cargo up to 100 tonnes cargo, which is a lot. 600 passengers, and it was broken up in Kettering, which is down the river, and it was retired in 1965. It was broke up in 1995, and it was built in 1916, sorry, 1961. I don't know what I'm saying. This was actually a museum. Our library, sorry. Here it is behind all these banners that are on the corner. And it was actually built from funding by residents. Now you probably can't read it, but I'll read this stone. This stone was laid by Sir A.E. Havelock, CCSI. I think it's a CCMC, CCIE, Governor of Tasmania on February 22nd, 1904. The cost of the new building for the Tasmanian Public Library having been donated by Andrew Carnegie, I think it is, I'll spell it out to you guys, CARNECIA ESQ of I'll spell this out, SKIBO Cattle Duchich DORNOCH Scotland. So it was donated, all the money was donated to Tasmania from this gentleman, and now it's a maritime museum. Right, I'll walk across here. So yeah, we have got a few buildings, and I'll look back when I get across. Right, so there's the Maritime Museum. I'll take you guys in there one day, and because Hobart is mainly all around the sea. There's Mawson's place, named after Sir Douglas Mawson, the first person who went down to the Antarctic. And now this is a part of all the museum. They've got the whole block. Now that building that's in there behind the barbed wire, that's apparently an old cottage. I'll find out, so I've got information about it at home, which I'll add on to the end of the video about that. I might even I'll just type it in. This is the customs house, and it's as I said, it was built to protect the building behind it, which I'll go and show you. Looks different in the daylight, doesn't it? Now, I did notice when I was driving past one day, it's got these statues. If you can't really see them all that well, on the corner. And there's another one on top of that pillar there, so it looks like he's holding the building up myself. Looks like they're both holding the building up. Now you've got the Royal Crest there for Tasmania. And the Royal Crest is like two lions or a lion and a tiger. I don't know what they are off the top of my head. I can't tell from this angle. Right, beautiful old building. As I said, we keep our old buildings, we don't knock them down. It's only modern ones that we knock down that we've built back in this while ago. Now, here's a better view. This is the one on the other side. To me, that looks like someone with law. Well, that looks like a wheel to me. I don't know. I'm going to investigate a bit more about this building. What it was used for. Sorry about spinning around, guys, but yeah. So over there was one cross, there was another cross behind Muir's there, and there was another one over there behind that building in the Marine Ball building, which has got those wind turbines which are not working at the moment because there's hardly any wind. Right, now we're walking up to the main entrance of the museum. This is what I was going to show you, but I couldn't show you because it was night time and plus the museum was shut. Now, there's a city hall at daytime. Well, I'll go and have a close look at that. I've actually got contacts I can get inside that after hours. Like when it's not even being used, I can get in and have a look. That's got a stage in it and double story. It was actually used as a picture theatre at some stage. The army took it over and it's been used as a refuge place when we had a suburb down the coast towards Port Arthur called Dunalley that got almost wiped out by bushfires a couple of years ago. This shows the age of the wall where they've had to brace it because, as I said to you in the other video, that the bricks are not that well done for long sort of stays. Right. This is the powder building. Big massive building, and this is behind the customs house. That there is a water lift. We'll walk over a bit. There's a lift sitting up there, so that's up as high as it will go. But if you want to let it down, you put what is it? Let me think. To let it down, you've got to fill up. This is a big massive cylinder, and that is, no, let me think. You turn that tap on, that fills it up, that pushes the plunger down, which raises the, well, they've got it as a hydraulic lift. Installed in the 1900s. So restored in 82 to 1988, so it's in working order still. But there's another floor down below that, so I thought it was a water lift myself. Oh well, obviously I didn't do my studies all that well, did I? But now there's a wheel down there as well. Oh, a wheel down there as well, of course. Now I would say if you put water in there, you push a plunger, because there's a plunger in that pipe. It pushes it up, pushes those wheels up, which would lower the lift. And then if you let the water out, it pushes the plunger down. I don't know. If you guys have got any ideas on how it works, I am totally confuffled at the moment. Please put in a description and see if you can work out how it works, because there's a tavern in Hobart and it's been operated. It's got a lift, water lift, and if he wants to, it's only for getting their beer kegs from ground floor down to bay. And if he wants to raise it up, he puts water in. If he wants to get the kegs down, he turns the tap off and the water comes out, and of course the weight pushes it down. So that's modern thinking, and what goes up must come down. Yeah, but that one's got me. I suppose it would be almost exactly the same when you think about it. You put pressure in, the plunger goes up, which means that would raise the lift. No, it would lower the lift. So you take the pressure out, which would. Oh, I'm totally confuffled. I'll have to do some homework, and I'll let you guys do some as well. Right now, that's the new extensions to the hospital we've got. There's our Royal Hobart Hospital. There's a lot more floors of that to go, and apparently there's a helicopter pad going on the top. We've got another crane being it's erected, but you can't see it on the skyline when you're looking at a distance, because it just sits below the skyline. It's a different sort of crane. It's called I'm not quite. The boom doesn't get. This thing goes straight out. It doesn't go up and down. So not like the other two. To me, it's a crane. A crane's a crane. Excuse me. Yeah, there it is there. But that's across the road here. That is something to do with our arts, because that's attached. That's going next to the oldest theatre we've got, called the Theatre Royal, the longest continuing operating theatre in Australia, I believe. Yeah, so this is the City Hall. Excuse me again. Got a tickle in the throat. Yeah, can't see inside because they got the other doors shut. But that's the front foyer. The tiles on the floor. This has had a few renovos in its lifetime. Yeah, they have all sorts of things on there. Right, that building is the stores house, where I told you where people could get all their food and everything when it was Hobart Town. And there goes one of our new buses. We've just got a whole heap of new buses. Yeah, so that's full of history. It's now a coffee shop because it's a part of the museum. Hope and Anchor, that had the license, the oldest license ever held, but it was closed for a few number of years. So now there's a pub up in New Norfolk, which is another video I'm in the process of doing, which has got the license holder for the oldest license holder in Australia for a pub. In heyday, Hobart had a pub and a tavern on every single corner. There was a tavern underneath the Theatre Royal. Right next door to the Theatre Royal is called the Theatre Royal Hotel, of course. So there was a hotel and a tavern right next door to each other. So I suppose you could say in the heyday, Hobart Town was full of a pub town, not a Hobart town, I suppose you could say. Right, this building here, I'm got the information at home about it, and I'm in the process of delving into it, and cause I went to the archives and found out I've got a land title and all that about it, so I'll tell you about that in a future video. As you can probably work out, I've done a complete circle because there's the town hall back up again. Now also, last month on my Facebook account I got to get your memories, what happened 3 years ago. And I thought that I might do things of what was and what are now in this video as well. Oh, by the way, there's the other crane. They demolished, that was another building they demolished. That was 10 Murray Street. I'll put some photos in of that. And they demolished that from inside out. The company that did that was Hazel Brothers Contractors. Very good company. They've got a lot of trucks. Now, that building there, which was in the tail end of the Dark Mofo one at night time, which I didn't mention about, that was where the paper was printed. Where that big window is, it was where the printing press used to be, and you used to be able to stand there and watch them print the paper. Before it became printing the paper, it was a car yard. Yes, they used to sell cars there. And I'm not quite sure if it was built for that or what, but that's as far as I can go back by the history I've had to find out. So, yeah, I don't know what time the Mercury took it over, but yeah, well now Mercury don't own it anymore. Let's talk about going around in circles. It's now little coffee shops and all that sort of thing they're doing. So, restoring, reusing buildings, recycling, that's what we're all into these days. Now, I've got to walk up to the next street, not this set of traffic lights, but the next one, and I'll get back to you because I've got to pop into this building I'm right nearby to find out a question. I've got to go and see someone. Okay, see you when I get up there. Okay, I'm back. This is a part of the Royal Hobart Hospital because this is Argyle Street we're in. That was Webster's Wool Stores. Now it's turned into car park on the bottom, and offices, and up the top there's surgeries and waiting rooms and everything for part of the Royal. So you've got a big massive car park there. That goes up to about 7 floors. Now, this building I'm going to show you now, was part of Hobart Hospital. It's now Hobart Private Hospital. That is where I had my carpal tunnel done, operation. 2 of them. I had one done on the left on the 5th month this year, and I've just had the other one done at the beginning of this year. Yeah, this has been that entry. Actually, that entrance there was the emergency ward at one stage, and they rebuilt a new one underground around in Elizabeth Street. But nah, I prefer the Hobart private. At least you get in quicker. You've got a waiting room full of people, and you're trying to get in, and you're not all that well. And it's not good. And it's government run. Speaks good for the government, doesn't it? Oh well, that's about what you'll get about me about the government. Right, that building you can see there with boards up it, that was award-winning coffee shop. That's what the paper put it down as. About 3 weeks ago, that caught fire at about 10 o'clock at night. Electrical fault caused the flames, and upstairs is a accommodation place which goes right around the corner. That's temporarily closed because of smoke damage, but I don't know what they're going to do with that. I don't know if they're going to rebuild, or I don't know. But apparently, when I'm going by the photos, smoke was pouring out of the building. As you can see, windows are open upstairs. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, that ramp goes down to the emergency ward. That's where you come out and you go in at the other end. There's an ambulance down there backing in at the moment. And yes, we do get cases of ramping, which is where it got people lying in ambulances that are on the ramp. Not good. Vodafone, which is an Australian phone company, which is what I use, that's their call centre for Australia. This building on the corner, this was originally a hotel, and then it was a takeaway shop, and now it's called Dumpling World. Very good food. I'd recommend it to anybody. And reasonably priced as well. So yeah. Now I'm just going to walk down the street here. I probably won't say anything, but let's let you to get the vibe of what's going on. Because it's lunch hour as well. As you can see, we've got Asian food here. We've got all types of foods. but that's our mall or mall, whatever you want to call it. Depends on which school you went to. The reason that car's parked there because it's an unmarked police car. They pull up people, quite a few of them actually. Right, now Elizabeth Street goes all the way through to Newtown, I think it is, and then it goes to Newtown Road. Right, now what I'm going to show you is that building with that weird looking frontage. That is a building that's been rebuilt. It's Myers. People in Tasmania or in Australia will know what Myers is. It's a big department store chain, and they've built what is going to be accommodation, motel accommodation on top. Now, this was burnt down. I've got photos. I'm going to put some photos in of what it was like before, and the fire. It actually lit the whole city up. The fire was that long, that hot, it was bright. You could see it for miles on the skyline. Smoke was pouring out everywhere. It was an electrical fault that caused the fire. Early hours of the morning before people got in to go to do their shopping, which was good. We did have a hole in the ground for a fair while. No one knew what to do with it, and it took them a while to actually get a plans together to actually rebuild on what they were going to do. And it's fairly nice inside. It was originally Myers' store. It was originally two different department stores. The other one is around in Murray Street, which I'll show you shortly. That's had its dramas as well. So as you can see, it's not my style of architecture. To me, I would have tried and copied the building that was there, just the frontage, because it got that hot that all the mortar had perished and broken and everything like that. Right, now I'll take you in a thing called Mathers Lane. Mathers used to be a big department store. It was, I'll get my breath back, 1820 it was started, and it was there's some images of what it used to look like. But it's got several shops in it now. Like got Leslie's, which are a men's clothing store. Everyone's suits and all that sort of thing. It's where you go. But look at this. You don't see workmanship like this anymore. No, you don't see workmanship like this anymore. Well, I'll walk all the way out through. Right, now that big building, that's our new library. It's big. That's where you get your archives. That's where I got my archives and all that sort of thing. That's the Hobart City Council. I've got a building called the Mathers Building because we're in Mathers Lane. We'll have the 60s and Overs Club and all that sort of thing. This is adjacent to the arcade, that Miller's Lane thing I walked through. Wow, look at these. Oh, enough of those. Yeah, that's collectibles, I would say, or I'm not quite sure what it is. Anyway, this is a little arcade. We've got quite a few little arcades all through. Right, now, where those traffic lights are, that is Murray Street. That building on the corner you can see with the red, white, yellow, green, blue colours. That is a store called Sports Girl. When I was young, when I mean young, before I got my licence, which was I was 16, I got my licence. There was a restaurant there called the Green Gate. Beautiful food. It got burnt down. So they demolished it, and that was, at the time that was the most expensive block of land in Hobart. Yeah. So we'll walk across Murray Street. That building way up there with the glass, you can just see that's a part of the library as well. Right. Now that one where it says Myer, that's the original frontage. There was nothing wrong with the shop. Part of its interior showed its age. They decided to demolish it after they rebuilt the new Myers, and they had these steel frames holding that frontage up, and they built this thing up the top. So that's a part of the motel as well. Now there was a pretty massive white crane like there was at the hospital there, but that was pulled down a couple of weekends ago, and it was bitterly cold, wet weather, and I didn't come in. I missed out on coming in to see it being pulled down, but I've got photos of it, how the crane they used to assemble it. But also when they were digging out the foundations to put this new building in, they had a slight problem, because underneath the streets of Hobart we have the rivulet. The rivulet travels all the way from Mount Wellington all the way out to the Derwent River. It comes out near the regatta ground, which I'll show you another day. We actually nearly walked over it when I did the dark mofo. Well, I think I did actually mention it. So that's where it comes out. This shopping centre point, which has got a car park on top as well, that's built over the rivulet as well. So where that stonework is, where it's just where those dotted line where those cars are driving up, that's where the rivulet is. Now it went underneath that shop with Specsavers, and the wall collapsed and flooded the foundations. So they had to rebuild the wall and everything like that. So it was quite a drama. They had it all blocked off, half the strip blocked off and everything for that. That's Cat and Fiddle Arcade. I'll show you that one another day. We've got a lot of shops, little mini shops, but that used to be a bank. Now it's been turned into office because the bank was liquidated into other banks. So you've got the Bendigo Bank. So just having a look back at this building, Myers building. I haven't been in there and had a look yet, but apparently they've got a coffee shop up there on the first floor. And it's apparently 3 stories of shopping. So yeah, and there's a basement as well. And you can walk from one to the other. So yeah. Okay, I want to go and get something to eat because I feel a bit hungry. See, it is lunchtime. And I will catch you later on today, hopefully. Okay, until then, bye. Okay, now that was Wednesday that I'd finished off, and now it's Friday. I've had a couple of things to do during the one yesterday. The video's getting a little bit long, so what I thought I might do is actually I did have some lunch, as I said I did. What I might do is I might take you and show you inside Cat and Fiddle, the arcade. Originally, Cat and Fiddle was just an alleyway with cobblestones to service the back of shops, and that's all it was. But there was a person called David Jones who had a department store out in front of where the mall, the Mall in Elizabeth Street as the entrance, the other entrance, where I'm going into. And he did a lot of the work to what it is up to now. Going down there, that's one way of getting down to Cat and Fiddle, but this is another way. It's just full of shops, and it's known for tourists to go to this place that I'm going to in Cat and Fiddle. It's well, let's say what I'm going to show you, I still turn my head and look at it. So it's a thing for all ages. I do have a video of it, if it's not going to chime when we're here, but that's giving you a little bit of a hint of what it is. If it doesn't chime, I'll just put the video on the end. I have put photos through. Hopefully you guys will like the photos. Well, we've got 3 big massive department stores here. Right, that is it, and in 5 minutes time it will go off. But right down where that empty chair and tables and where those people are, there used to be a fountain there. Well, they took it away when they redid it, and you got Muffin Break. And underneath me we've got Donut King another store, and we've got little weedy stores all around there. So what I'll do is I'll stop this and then I'll start it again in a couple of minutes, and we'll go from there. You can actually see this thing working. Okay. Okay, that's it, and I suppose that's time for me to say that this is the end. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you're the first person to see this, and also hit that like button. If you can make some comments about that lift at the Powder magazine at the museum, I'd be grateful, because I tried to Google it last night and I didn't know where to go to. Okay, well, until my next one, I'll sign off, and just remember, I love you all, and be happy. Okay, bye.
He's a celebrity.
I don't know.